The night shift never ended. I took the night shift because it paid more. That's the truth, I don't dress up. I needed the money, and the listing said, quiet environment, minimal activity. That sounded manageable. That sounded safe. The building used to be a call center. You can tell because nothing was redesigned properly. The cubicles were still there, stripped of computers but not of the smell. Burnt coffee, plastic, dust that's been heated and cooled 1,000 times. The kind of place where voices used to echo, where people complained into headsets for 8 hours a day. Now it belonged to a private security firm, monitoring contracts, alarm response coordination, mostly digital, mostly remote, mostly 6 floors, 1 physical guard overnight. Me, 4th floor. The first week was uneventful. I learned the building's rhythms, the way the HVAC system kicked on every 47 minutes, the slight delay between a motion sensor trigger and the camera feed updating, the flicker in one of the stairwell lights that maintenance kept promising to fix. I brought books, podcasts, snacks. I settled in. Nothing ever happened. That should have bothered me sooner. On the 8th night, I logged in like usual at 10:58 p.m. badge scan. Elevator ride. Desk chair squeaking the same way it always did. At 1:43 a.m., the system flagged a motion alert on the 3rd floor. East hallway. Routine. I switched to the feed. Empty hallway. Lights on. No movement. The carpet pattern was the same dull blue it always was. Exit sign glowing green at the far end. The alert triggered again. Same hallway. Same timestamp. No delay. That made me pause. Motion alerts don't stack like that. There's always a reset window, a cooldown. But the system logged it as 2 identical events back to back, like time hiccuped. I zoomed in. That's when I noticed the hallway looked longer than it should. The camera angle hadn't changed, but the perspective felt stretched, like the walls were leaning away from each other. The exit sign flickered red for a single frame. I blinked, reset the feed. Everything snapped back to normal. I logged it as a software glitch and kept watching. At 2:17 a.m., the elevator activated. I didn't call it. The call button lit anyway. I turned in my chair and watched the indicator above the elevator doors across the open floor. 6, 5, 4. Stopped on my floor. The doors didn't open. I waited. Sometimes the doors stick. Old building. Nothing. I radioed the other guard assigned that night. No response. Tried again. Just static. I checked the employee tracker. According to the system, I was the only person clocked in. That wasn't possible. Policy required 2 guards minimum. I called my supervisor. Straight to voicemail. The elevator doors opened. The car was empty. Cold air rolled out. Not air-conditioned cold. Damp cold. Basement cold. The kind that smells faintly metallic, like standing near old pipes or wet concrete. I took a step back without thinking. The doors closed. That's when the motion alerts started stacking. 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor, all within seconds. I pulled up the camera grid. Every hallway feed showed the same thing at first. Empty space, normal lighting. Then I noticed the shapes. At the far edge of each frame, barely inside view, something darker than shadow stood still. Same height, same outline, always facing the camera. I leaned closer to the screens. Low light noise, I told myself. Compression artifacts. My brain filling in blanks. Then the shapes moved. Not walking. Sliding. Closer. The radio crackled. Static at first. Then breathing. Slow. Controlled. Like someone trying not to be heard. A voice came through. "You're late." I swallowed and asked who it was. My voice sounded wrong. Smaller. "You always are," the voice replied. The camera, "You can leave when the shift ends." I checked my watch. 3:12 a.m. I tapped it against my wrist. The second hand refused to move. The digital display didn't blink. The battery icon was full. I pulled out my phone. No signal. No time. The lock on the security office door clicked behind me. I hadn't touched it. I tried the handle anyway. It didn't budge. The building made a sound then. Not a noise exactly. More like pressure. Like the air itself was being held in place. The kind of silence that makes your ears ring. I moved deeper into the floor, away from the office, toward the cubicles. They felt safer than the open space, even though I couldn't explain why. As I walked, the lights above me dimmed slightly, as if reacting to my movement. The elevator chimed again. This time, the doors opened. I could see it clearly now. The inside wasn't empty anymore. Someone was standing at the back of the car. The doors slid shut before I could focus on their face. The radio buzzed. "You're not supposed to see that yet." I asked what this place was. I asked who was talking. I asked how to leave. The answer came calmly. "You already did." I laughed then. Not because it was funny, but because fear was turning into something heavier. Something colder. I walked to the stairwell. The door opened easily. The stairs inside were wrong. They went down, but not in straight lines. Each landing felt slightly rotated, like the building had been twisted slowly over time. The walls were too close. The air smelled damp and old. I went down one flight, then another. My radio crackled with footsteps that matched my own. When I stopped, they stopped. When I moved again, they followed. I reached the third floor. The hallway there looked different than it had on camera. Longer, narrower. The exit sign glowed red. The shapes I had seen earlier stood clearly now. They weren't figures exactly. More like outlines where light refused to exist. Human-shaped gaps in reality. One of them leaned forward. I asked what that meant. "You monitor," the voice said. "You observe. You log. You stay." I realized then that the screens weren't showing me feeds anymore. They were showing replacements. Guards who had come before me. I recognized one face from training videos. A guy who had quit suddenly years ago. Another from an old staff photo pinned to a bulletin board. They all sat the same way. They all watched. None of them blinked. I backed away. The floor beneath me felt softer, like carpet laid over something breathing. I asked what happened to the building. The answer came slower this time. This place collects time. People who have nowhere else to go. People who stay late. People who don't leave when they should. I thought about how easy the job posting had been. No interview. No background check. Immediate start. "You volunteered," the voice said. I reached the stairwell again. This time the door was locked. The elevator chimed. I turned. The doors opened. Inside stood a man wearing my uniform, my badge, my face. He looked tired, older. His eyes were hollow in a way mine weren't yet. He spoke without moving his mouth. "Shift's over." The watch on my wrist ticked. 3:13 a.m. Time lurched forward like it had been released. The lights came back on. The building felt normal, quiet, dead. The elevator doors closed behind him. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember the drive home. My supervisor says I quit. Left my badge. No explanation. The building was condemned 2 weeks later. Structural issues, electrical failures, unsafe conditions. They boarded it up. But sometimes late at night my phone vibrates. Motion detected. 4th floor, 3:12 a.m. And somewhere, a replacement is learning how to sit still.